Welcome to this month's Cincinnati Meteor Meetup. We're trying a new format this month for everybody here. I guess I'm over here. You're live streaming, hey. So we're going to do a quick this month in Meteor, which we'll just be talking about some of the This Week in Meteor stuff. And then we've got a talk from Gerard Seachai about React and Meteor. And then we'll do a quick demo of Mongol, the package. So I will turn it over to Bruce. There you go, man.
All right. Hey guys. Yep. Let's say how many people we have. Just curious.
0 so far.
0. Okay. All right. Just curious.
This is forever, so.
Yeah, it is forever.
On YouTube.
Edit that out.
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Bruce Hubbard, developer at Differential. We're going to try to do the This Week in Meteor section of the meetup. This is basically just going over, we have a newsletter that goes out and blog posts, which summarizes all of the awesome things that are happening in the Meteor community from week to week. It's called This Week in Meteor. You can go to thisweekinmeteor.com and sign up for that. So I just wanted to spend like 5 or 10 minutes to go through the list and point out some of the cooler things that are happening. So I'm looking at the board. So the new Meteor forums. So the old forums kind of stunk, and so they got replaced with a new one. Definitely go check those out and see all the conversations. Can you scroll down a little bit? Another link to check out is this, the power of Tracker. So it talks about how Tracker can be used outside of Meteor. And if you've done any Meteor at all, use Tracker a lot for reactivity and to rerun things when things change. And then the other thing that I thought was awesome from this week was the Windows preview. Yep. So they're getting closer and closer to having Meteor run in Windows. I haven't actually checked it out. It may actually run perfectly fine, but
Yeah,
I don't have Windows.
To be in 1.1, and it'll be like end of the month is what they're hoping. So.
They're on edge cases.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
which Windows is full of it.
yes. So that'll be awesome, because then yeah. Then whenever people come and show up to like training and everything, when we teach them Meteor, they can install it on Windows, because half the people that show up are running Windows. Usually that's to some
all the
to some
.NET
extent.
developers.
Correct. All the .NET developers, and we do get a bit that show up. All right, that was mainly what I wanted to do in week 4. We flip to week 3. Yeah.
Okay.
This feels awkward. So a new Meteor version was released. It just fixed a bug in the Meteor deploy command that I never hit, but somebody obviously did. The improved Blaze performance on initial array. There's a performance problem, like when it would render a list and it was an empty list, and then all of a sudden it went to render a lot of rows at the same time. There's a performance bottleneck that kind of got fixed with that. Make template.body act like a normal template. So if you've used Meteor, you know what templates are. They're kind of a combination of JavaScript and HTML. But body tags were always treated specially, because they all get combined together in kind of one clump. So but you could ever target them for like events and different things like you could a normal template. So that fixed that. And then the Blaze profiler, which is the next one down. It looked like it was a Chrome extension. Still a major work in progress, but it basically did performance, just performance in a Meteor app. So you could run change some things, and then see where your Meteor app spent most of its time. And then the other one was down the Meteor multi-core support. So the Meteor Hacks cluster package. So that's an attempt to help scale out Meteor. It got basically multi-core support, which is pretty self-explanatory. So that was big news. All right, week 2. Yeah, the Blaze pull requests. These aren't in. Do you know if they're going to do it for 1.1 or if this is just?
This is in
It hasn't
104.
got merged. It didn't look like it got merged.
I'm pretty sure this is in 104.
Okay. I didn't see. I clicked on it and I did not see that pull request was merged.
This one
Yeah.
was supposed to drop in 104.
Okay.
The constraint solver was not in 104.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that it was merged. Yeah, it was something that was referenced. It is
Yeah.
really big because it had a lot of implications on other things. But yeah, I still don't think it's
Oh
been.
yeah, look at that.
It hasn't been merged in, but they're pretty cool features.
Yeah, the each X and Y looks really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think it's like that's the hardest thing when you explain to people like
Yeah.
you run an each
It
loop
magically
and
changes the data context.
then, yeah, like explaining data context to people seems
Yeah.
always the hardest thing.
Yeah, because exactly. I think it just makes it more readable.
Yeah.
Because really, it's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times, like instead of the data context for me, I'll just return an object and like put a name in front of it just so it's more obvious to people when I'm teaching it.
I'm wondering if this helps. Like if you're inside an each and then you're inside another context within the each, if you can refer to that.
I think you
Oh,
can.
no.
I think that would be the biggest.
Yeah, because they're variable names.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's like the best.
Instead of using ...
Yeah.
Because you
So
can
you
use
have
dot
the
dot right
Right.
now, ... slash.
But that's
It's
so
really more
weird.
readable.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
Weird.
standard handlebars.
But it's not
But-
even well documented. In the
No,
handbooks.
it's not.
And they do a horrible job at documenting space forms. in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is way more readable.
Yeah, I actually like the index one also because that was one of the first warts I came
Yeah.
across with Meteor, and I'm like, okay, woohoo, I'm displaying an array of things. All right, now let's just put an index on it. What? This is a hard problem?
It is a hard
Like-
problem because
Yeah,
reactively,
yeah,
you got to figure out which one you've updated and then you
Yeah.
update all the other ones.
correct.
So that was why they
Yeah.
punted on it. But
Yeah,
I'm glad to see that they've got it.
yeah. So it's really nice. And then what was let? I forget what let was. Is that
You can just introduce.
It's all part of
go
it.
to the top? Oh.
You can introduce new variables.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can rename your variables basically.
Yeah, that doesn't seem tons useful.
It's boring.
Yeah, compared to the other ones.
What the crap?
Get rid of this.
All right, I think that was really about it for week 2.
With multiple. Yeah.
Yeah. So for week 1, which is our last and final, and I've got about 10 seconds left. Just the oplog backlog, which was if sometimes when it's tailing the backlog, it gets behind. So at some point it like resets. And then the Windows preview, which you already saw that they actually have already done a 0.2 on that. And then I'm told that Meteor 1.1 is expected by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Targeted.
For the end of the month. So that's this weekend or this month in Meteor. Sign up for the updates at thisweekinmeteor.com. And I'll turn it over to Gerard, who's going to talk about Meteor and React. I'll move this.
There it is. Should I
Make sure I'm not blocking.
stand up?
You are.
Should I stand up or sit down?
Well, if you stand up, I think it might be okay.
I can. Oh, I should. There we go. That's a no. That's just slides.com. Oh, and that's not even right.
Someone did a great job.
There. Oh. Thank you. There.
Hey.
All right. This is recorded, right?
There's 5 people
Yeah.
watching, man.
Oh, yeah?
No
Okay.
pressure, dog.
Hello, 5 people. All right. Plus everyone in here. Yeah, all the dozens of people attending
Tell them they
live.
can ask questions and we'll answer them at the end.
That's right.
stream
Yeah,
page.
people watching live. We're taking questions in the on the Google Plus page. Got it. And then
We'll answer it.
at the end, there's time for Q&A, and we can answer them then. So, is everyone leaving?
We'll watch you on YouTube.
My name is Gerard Cincinnati. I work for Differential, in case anyone didn't know. Meteor developer. Before that, I had a brief stint in Node and Rails, and then before that, I did PHP for many years. And all of you, I'm going to guess, Ron is new to Meteor. So that was my first question. Who's new to Meteor? Okay. Second question, who's new to React?
All of us.
Everyone. Awesome. That's excellent. So I want to see.
Risky technology.
Didn't they say that about Meteor? Awesome. Meteor was once, yeah. Meteor is a risky technology.
They still do.
So is React. They still do. I know, and React's not even 1.0. So I'll go through a very brief introduction to React. I'm not this isn't a talk on React itself, so I'm not giving a tutorial on React. I'm just going to talk about what makes React React. I'm not going to tell you how you actually use it because I barely know. So at its heart, React is a framework for creating JavaScript components. So when you say the word component, it's kind of loaded. Can mean a lot of things. People who have been trying to do web components, or at least talking about them since the web was around in some form or another. But in a nutshell, component, this concept of combining your logic, your presentation, and your styling, maybe into one piece or one module, has been around for a long time. And React is the latest attempt, and I think it does a pretty good job. So it's not to be confused with web components, which is a specific thing, a W3C standard on how do you implement components in a web browser. Polymer is addressing that. If we have time, we might be able to talk about it, but we'll see. React is also focused on the UI only. So if you go to the home page, it says React is the V in MVC, which I think is kind of confusing because then people will think it's about templating, but it's not really about templating. The same way that Blaze has templates, like HTML templates, and then JavaScript logic, React is the same. You have your presentation and you have your business logic. The only thing it doesn't address is your data. It doesn't care how you save the data, where you save it, where you send it. It's strictly on presentation and the logic. And React is opinionated, which there's a couple things about that. One is they reject two-way binding. So React is one-way binding and always will be according to them. And they have this concept of immutable state, which I still don't quite. I know what immutable state means, but in React you can change the state. So I'm not quite sure. In practice, I don't know what that means, but in the docs, that's a big principle. What immutable state gets you is simplicity. It allows you to render things over and over and over without worrying that something's changed because your state is immutable. So we'll see a little bit of that. Oh, okay. A little bit of code. World's simplest. Oh, there it is. Is that big enough? So, yeah, really. Big enough?
Maybe one more.
Bigger?
That might be readable.
I don't know if I can.
Uh,
I mean, this file's okay, but the next one won't be. We'll have to go with that. So this is the world's simplest React component. The only purpose here is that, you know, a component by and large is created with this React class method, and then you just pass it a hash. The only required field, as far as I understand, is this render function, which gives you your template. So I won't go too deep into it, but React promotes this this thing they invented called JSX, which lets you embed HTML into your JavaScript. And they have a tool that will parse that and turn it into JavaScript. So then it'll run just like normal. There's a lot of quirks and gotchas with JSX. I won't go into them. They're not too bad, but it's definitely it takes some getting used to. So in your render function, they'll give you things like data, data variables. They'll give you event handlers like this on-click event handler, which just runs this .click, which is this function. So if I load it up here, I think, yeah. So this div is basically what I'm rendering here, and then there you go. So the whole point is, this React component is actually, there's not a lot to it. It's a hash and it has functions, and as we'll see, it has lots of handles on data. So who cares, right? What's the big deal? So it's hard to explain. I was trying to figure out a good word to describe this quality of React, and then I read the Percolate blog, and they use this word, which is disciplined, and I think that's a great word, because the goal, the charter of React is to make composable web apps, break things into little tiny components that are easier to use and easier to think about. And that's composable, that's one, but then they sort of enforce little things here and there that aren't obvious up front. But taken as a whole, it's a very disciplined approach to composability. It's a little, I don't know if that makes complete sense, but React seems a little cleaner than other components I've seen in the past. Like, I haven't seen a React component that's very big. Maybe it's because it could be because JSX is such a pain to write. Like, you don't have a lot of it in any one particular class, but they're all really small. Another big reason is well, it's Facebook. It's hard to tell if React is so popular because of technology, or if it's popular because Facebook has a team that's working on it like all day long, and they have Facebook can let's have a React conference, so they'll have a conference. Not many open source libraries can do that. Technically speaking, the big game changer is the virtual DOM. Let's talk about the virtual DOM. It's really, virtual DOM is not a good term, I think, because DOM makes you think web browser. At least it makes me think web browser. But it's better to think about it as just an abstraction layer between whatever you're rendering to and your JavaScript code. So it's just an abstraction layer. That's all it is. So when you call that render function in the component, React is maintaining an internal representation of that structure, and it hasn't rendered it anywhere yet until the right time. So the cool thing is, since it's abstract, you have, I'll just do it all. So the cool thing is, since it's an abstraction layer, it's agnostic to your render target. So if you want to render to the DOM, you can do that. If you want to render to a string on the server, you can do that. It's trivial. If you want to render to a canvas element, so Flipboard recently released this React Canvas library that lets you create basically web pages with Canvas. You can do that with React. And then of course there's React Native, which lets you render to, not render, but compile down to native iOS. So, and the cool thing is, like, React is just JavaScript. It doesn't run in the browser. It's just a JavaScript library. So you can run it anywhere. You can run it on the server, you can run it on the client, you can run it on a device, you can run it on a, hardware. So it's very flexible. I think that's kind of it's behind a lot of the popularity. And then they say it's very fast. There's a bunch of technical details around that. So you want to use React with Meteor. That's the React portion. Here comes the Meteor portion. See what time it is? I think I started a little late. Okay. So when we say React with Meteor, what exactly do we mean? So I'll go through a couple scenarios, 2 or 3 scenarios. One would be, do you want to use React components within Blaze? So someone hands me a React component, and I just want to stick it. It's so useful, but I don't want to rewrite it in Blaze. I just want to stick it in there. That would be one way. Do you want to use React instead of Blaze? So Blaze and React they basically compete, in my opinion. You could, in theory, do all React on the front end, keep your Meteor back end, and not touch Blaze. Although this is kind of nuanced, all that Blaze stuff will be loaded. It's all in there. It's running. You're just not using it, which brings us to the last scenario, which is, do you want to use React without Meteor at all on the front end? And we'll get to see that, hopefully, with our asteroid example. And you can't see the thing. He says, oh, really? It's chopped off. All right. Oh, really?
Still fun.
Okay. I go through a couple packages. This is one. I have a code example, but I'm going to skip it because you get the idea. So Avi wrote this package. It's like really small. It's like 20 lines. It's a single file. Avi works for the Meteor Development Group. Hello, Avi. We met once, actually. You may not remember, but we've met. Avi wrote this package. It's really small. It's a single file. It lets you do this. If you have a React component called Hello World in your Blaze template, you can just kind of do the inclusion helper to it, and whatever it renders will appear there. So that's kind of cool. He has a actually pretty thorough example, something called rectangles, which uses this. It's interesting, but the package itself is pretty simple. So yeah, I'm going to skip that one and do this one, which is a little more interesting. So this is probably the favorite right now. This is the favorite React Meteor integration package. And the approach it takes to integration is like this. So they use this React mixin to establish this get Meteor state hook. And that's your hook into React from Meteor. So get Meteor state basically returns a hash, and those values are reactive in React. So yeah. So for example, in this one, we're returning a hash with a key of value. If value changes, then React will re-render that component.
Also interesting. Do you know who's doing this?
It's a guy named Ben. I know he works for. Is that your Ben?
No.
Oh.
No, Ben.
Oh, I know.
He works for Meteor as well.
He works for Meteor.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But let's see. I think I skipped one. So here's 2. Okay, good. So in this example, so this is the hello world, and then we're going to just render display number of seconds. And the number of seconds starts at 0. This component did mount function is kind of like a DOM ready. That's like where you put your once your component is ready to be manipulated, you put that stuff in there. So all I'm doing there is setting the value to 0 and then incrementing it. And then we have our get Meteor state hook, which is that bridge between Meteor and React. So React doesn't know anything about session variables, but we can use session variables to drive React. Let's see, where is it? So I need to start Meteor. Wait. This won't work. This will break. There we go. So this package is it's kind of screwy. It's all over the place. I have to run the develop branch of Meteor to get it to work. There we go. So
Nice.
that's it.
Can you blow that up a little more? The browser.
Is that?
Can you add like 1 million of those lines?
Yeah. I think.
There you go. Now you can see.
You mean like here?
Scroll.
How would I?
Is that the React demo?
Is it the like performance? I could probably do something like
Million
this.
lines, something changing. Scroll down.
I don't know. What am I doing?
Oh, yeah.
You're scrolling and it's smooth.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Oh, okay. Oh,
If you do that in Meteor, it's
is it?
smoothish.
Even just on desktop Chrome?
Even
Huh.
on desktop.
Jank.
No jank free. That's cool. Well,
It's like the demo. Basically, there was shit.
Yeah.
There's like database.
You talking about the
Yeah,
React Conf talk
yeah.
that they did? Yeah.
And they did.
Did you see the Meteor version of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
was
The
it
interesting
better?
thing is the Meteor version, like they have that memory counter and it just sticks at 9 megs, even the entire time. Everybody else kind of creeps up a little bit, but
Did React creep? That was the thing, right? Angular was creeping. What was
Ember,
the other one?
Ember had a huge bloat in it.
Ember just fixed that.
Supposedly.
Yeah, shamed into fixing it.
Yeah, they got shamed. They got
They,
shamed.
they
by
fixed it
talk.
like the day before the guy wrote that or gave it to him. Carry on.
Sure they did. Okay, as I was saying, maintain my MDG, question mark. So yes, the guy, I guess Ben something or other, maintains it, Ben Newman. But it's interesting, so he works for Meteor and he's maintaining this, but it doesn't, I don't know if it's officially,
He used to work at Facebook.
and he used to work, well, yeah, and he used to, wait, was he?
And he's the ES6 guy. They hired because they want they
Oh,
want someone to be thinking about the future of JavaScript when it comes to
okay.
There was the one guy that we saw. Did you think about him
Ben.
when we were out there?
No.
Ben
That was
Green.
Pete Hunt. He gave a talk.
Pete Hunt, yeah, Pete's the face of React, so you see him everywhere. No, this guy Ben, so he used to work at Facebook, now works for MDG. He maintains this in GitHub. You can see all his commits, but it's not under Meteor, right? It's not Meteor /
Under React.
yeah, it's under React. So I'm like, and his updates are kind of sporadic. It's probably not something he's doing, 100%. So that's why I had the question mark. I don't know if just because he works for Meteor, does that make it a Meteor package? I don't know, but you could bet on that. Okay, package number 3, this is, which is called Route Core. And they take a slightly different approach, which is to put the render function in a computation. So this is, I'll just move my session.getValue into the render, and every time session.getValue changes, it reruns. It's interesting. I have an example, but I won't show it because the result's the same. You get the idea. There's a counter. This package, I don't know what, no one talks about it. I've been looking at the forums and GitHub and all this crap. Everyone's talking about that previous package. No one's talking about Route Core. I don't know why, because it does like 5 times as much. For example, routing. So it has its own router, and which is cool. But I think the reason they do that is for server-side rendering. So the server-side rendering works flat out, like it just works. And in the previous package, it's like experimental, and it requires a fork of Meteor and all this business. And everyone's like, when are we gonna have server-side rendering? And this package already provides it. So I'm not quite sure what the deal is, and I've asked, and everyone has ignored my question. So
Did this start as a React and Meteor
yeah,
smash up?
full on, yeah. The only issue with this package is that it hasn't been updated since I think the last commit was November. So I don't know how active it is, but just from a feature standpoint, from a completion standpoint, it's all there. And there's even a to-do MVC example using this package. And like, yeah,
It's a lot more straightforward.
yeah,
Yeah.
it works great.
More
So
than you think.
I think, well, yeah, I actually like the mixing approach better. I like that Meteor state function
It's
than this, but that would be easy to like. We should combine the two. So, all right. Oops. What time is it? 5 minutes over, where I wanted to be. All right. So we're not actually going to build an app. I built it already. We'll just look at the code and. 4. Yeah, this is it.
Will this code be up on GitHub, by the way?
Yeah, I can do that,
Okay.
although it's not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. It's not. It's all over the place. So what we're going to build is this to-dos app, which is gigantic now. Okay, we'll just leave that there. So how big can I make it? That's good. Is that good?
Sort of. Yeah. Polymer in there.
This one is not Polymer. So this is no. So I built this app 4 times. Some of it, 2 of them use Polymer, 2 of them use materialized CSS. This one is materialized. So we can add it to do. We can cross it off, and then we can add another one. We can delete it, and then have these filters at the bottom, so we can filter active to-dos, completed to-dos, or just all. So it's kind of like to-do MVC, only dumbed down. And here's the React code. And so I'll start there. So it's not really, it's pretty straightforward. You kind of have to look past all the materialized CSS. That was just for fun. So here's our template. If you read the React docs, they'll want you to put, so I have my input form, my input field right here. And you know, if you read the React docs, they'll tell you put that in its own component. But for this purpose, I'm just going to lump it all together. The only thing interesting here is this. Here's our to-dos, where we do this .state.todos, and then we just iterate over them. And then this is my to-do item React component, which we can look at if you want. I don't know. It might be useful. We don't need to, because there's stuff in here. Do you want to look at it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to see it.
Yeah. All right.
You said they recommend you put the button in a separate component?
They would want you to put like the form, not the button, the input field, and then like the filters at the bottom would be a separate component. So like that's their philosophy. Okay, well yeah, this is good. So then here's our to-do component, which is a list item. And when I create the to-do, so the collection is actually held like up in the parent component. And when I create the to-do, I pass it through props, the actual text. And then I have the 2 icons, which call these 2 functions. This dot complete and this dot remove. And so it's pretty simple. So for example, in this dot complete, all I'm doing is just, so that at that point, this to-dos, that update is just mini Mongo. That's just Meteor. And the same for remove, it's just Meteor. Now, so the cool thing is once you call it there, the parent component reacts and re-renders and then updates the page. So we can actually see a little bit more of that. There's actually, so up in that first function to get initial state. So that's where you put your initial state for React. So here I've initialized the state to have one field which is called to-dos, which is just your collection of to-dos.
That's a Meteor collection right there.
Yeah, this to-dos.find is just plain old mini Mongo to-dos.find. But that's where where it reacts on. So every time it changes, like when we call to-dos.remove, then it re-renders. So the submit function, you can kind of see, you get the idea. We're going to do a to-dos.insert. Again, it's just regular Meteor. So here's my filters down here, and that's pretty simple. I'll call this .setState on React, which updates this to-dos key with this query, the results of this query, and then it re-renders. So that's my to-dos app.
All right, let's see it next.
So yep. So again, this is just standard Meteor rendered by React. So if we do this, I don't know what we buy. Buy a lot of crackers. If you cross it off, I can do, well, that won't do anything, but if I delete now,
You do completed.
but it won't, it's just,
Well, check off crackers on the other side. On the
yeah,
left.
I'm saying when I filter, it doesn't change the other window because that's not, I'm not modifying the data.
I see.
So it's a bad example. But but everything works as you would expect. So here's the really cool thing, right? So where it's React, right? So I'll do a hard reload. Data's still there. And yes, sir, you have view source. View source. Is there right click? What is it? Command U? View page source. Yes, you have. Well, let's pull this up. Now this is Meteor stuff. Here it is. So you have server rendered HTML page. So when it renders the first time, everything's bootstrapped, but then it just Meteor takes over like normal. And there's all these weird React data attributes, which are supposed to go away at some point. But
Yeah, that looks pretty ugly.
yeah, it's ugly, but it's all there. So like, here's my filters. Here's like, I don't know if you can see it, but that's one of the to-dos.
Yeah, that seems like a small price to pay for server render code.
For like server rendered code for free.
Review source anymore. That used to be a thing to do.
Yeah, to steal. Yeah, so that's cool, right?
So the view source part only, I mean, the server rendering obviously only works for any parts of the page that you use React components for.
It's good.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Probably,
because
yeah.
all that other Chrome was missing, right? It's
Yeah.
just the to-dos part that was showing up in the view source.
It's probably, yeah. That's probably good. That's a good point. So, yeah, I don't know what you do. I mean, you can like, no, it should. You mean the title and stuff?
I don't remember.
Save the source.
Like
That was in
form,
there.
Is the form there? Too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the title.
Oh, okay.
So
Here's
the
my-
React library, just kind of like. Well, do you have any HTML that isn't inside of React components?
So in this example, no.
Okay.
So it goes renders right to the body. Yeah. And then that's what they say, like not to, because you think of it like a desktop app or something. The body is your frame, and you just start there. We could try that though. I have a feeling that you're right. Only the React stuff would come through.
Which seems reasonable.
Yeah.
You know how heavy, like, download-wise React is versus Meteor?
Well, React is just a. In this case, I'm including it in the package. I don't know. We could find.
What's your IP?
I don't know.
Repeat the question.
What's my IP address?
No. The rise question.
Oh, okay. Why should
Question
I?
is, what is my IP address?
Is that 8.192.168.3?
I'm not seeing it. Is it? Yeah, there it is. 192. The question is, how big is it?
Yeah.
Like in size?
library.
Yeah, so if React's like a big thing or a little thing?
I really don't know. Let me.
He's checking.
I've got it right here.
All right.
Josh
Josh is checking it. So in this example, it's included by the package.
Just complete that.
But you can just, they have it on the CDN. You just use a script tag if you want to include it on the web page. Why do you want to know my IP address?
So just trust Facebook to
He's hitting your app.
do the right thing. Yeah, I'm looking
Oh.
at your app right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's Facebook. Yes, standard security measures apply.
I actually don't see it in here. Which library would it be?
It's in that.
The My like 2.6 megs. It's pretty big actually.
Oh, that's route forward. That's just there.
Yeah.
Maybe that has
Including React.
It does include React.
Still sounds pretty big.
I'm not sure. And there's three parts to React. There's React add-ons, and then there's the JSX compiler. You have to need them all.
No, it's pretty big from what I'm seeing.
We can,
Wow.
I have, it's the next
If it's
one.
minified and gzipped, it's 26K. If it's just gzipped, it's 90. If it's
Oh.
unminified and not gzipped, it's 450K. So it's half a meg roughly.
So what
That's
do you get,
big.
So in a nutshell, what do you get? I mean, basically the theory here is you get faster rendering performance. The
Mhm.
only advantage of this over vanilla media right now, right? Well, I guess there's
Well, no,
also,
Tom made the argument
I don't
that
know.
you get code that's easier to reason about how the updates are propagating them.
Discipline.
as long as if you like
Discipline.
It's discipline. Yeah, exactly. It's
Which is nice, which is big.
big because
I'm
Blaze is
looking forward to that.
Blaze is
Better.
kind of the same way. You can think about Blaze as like components, but you have two files, your HTML and then your JavaScript, and then there's no, like when you kind of include one and the other, it doesn't feel very componentized. It just feels like an include. It doesn't feel like a component. It feels like an
So there's no
like
way
an
to
include.
compose.
Yeah, you're not very
Which you can do
composable.
with React. You can use the React mixins. Just like Polymer.
Yes. Mhm.
Mixins.
Yep, there's mixins and there's components using components. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining that well. I think Blaze is very
Shared
close.
functionality
But
between components, even like
Yeah.
abstract components, even that really just get mixed into other components, just like you would do,
Mhm.
kind of like inheritance.
And we talk about, like Rich and I talk about server-side rendering a lot, and it doesn't I know they can put Blaze on the server. I don't know why they haven't. I don't know if it's a technical issue or it's just priorities. But if they did, I think it would bring it very close to React.
yeah, and I wonder server side. How would server side render? Like if you curl that page, obviously it's just look like regular HTML.
I think it'll look like the view source. Yeah,
Oh, the views. Okay.
I can try.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But then the JavaScript's gonna process that.
It'll
So it
look
still
like
requires
this.
like JavaScript.
Yeah.
In the crawler.
Oh
Well,
no.
It's already processed. You're going to get the result, the
It's-
initial result.
Yeah. It's processed
Like-
on the server, but yeah.
Like a crawler request to just get
Is curl
the HTML.
thing and links or how do you?
We try it. You use curl.
Yeah, that's what.
Whoops. Yeah, I think I did. Oh.
It crashed.
Uh,
Delete the timeout.
what?
Josh is hacking your app.
Anyway.
I flooded it. Since
I saw this little scroll, this little progress bar on this
Hey,
computer
stay
that
up
was
one.
downloading the secrets.
Oh, still not working.
all I got was 42.
I actually don't know. Well, I don't know why it's not working.
Oh no.
Is it crashing every time you curl it?
No? Still running? It's like, I think it. Host.
No.
Oh, there we go. That works. So that's what you get. Fast render. Oh,
Did you install Fast Render?
no, but route core depends on it. I think it uses some of its like
Oh,
injection
like-
stuff.
I see.
Check the visual.
Is route core
Clever.
server rendering?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
route core. So if you look at the package, there's a connect middleware that intercepts like routes and then calls React, calls render to string, and then just returns the string. And so like Percolate did something very similar with that other package, but it required a couple hacks. They had to hack that package, they had to hack Meteor, and then it like somewhat worked. And like, just like
Yeah, I
guys,
feel like Meteor itself could take over and do the same thing.
I think they could, and they
for
just haven't.
SSR. They just don't have enough people.
All right, let's keep going. This is for I. Okay.
Yeah.
Asteroid. So if you don't know, let me see, I have to run this. So Asteroid is a plain old JavaScript DDP client. So you can interface with Meteor backend with a plain vanilla JavaScript front end. And I think I want to, let's see. So I'll just show you first. Where are we here? I'll start at the bottom. So this is the same app, same to-dos app, same functionality using Asteroid. So this is, at this point, this is like a static site. This is a static HTML JS site. There's no server or anything here. I can show you, actually, let me show you that first. So here's my index.html. I have to script source, what is it? Well, jQuery underscore materialize. So Asteroid has 3 files, ddp.js. It uses Q for promises, and then that Asteroid browser.js. And then we include React itself, which again is these 2 files. And then I have my app. And I guess if you keep going down, that's the whole body. So in my JSX file, here it is. This is just normal jQuery on ready. I create a new Asteroid connection, which is the DDP connection, and I have to call subscribe. That's where the promise comes in, where when you subscribe, you wait till it's ready, and then you can go into rendering your app.
What's the rendering coming from? Is that a React-ism?
That's just jQuery promises.
Okay.
Yeah, so Asteroid return a promise, and then I'm using jQuery to consume it. And then, so here's my app right here. This line here is an app, and I'm passing it this Meteor DDP connection. So this component did mount is the interesting part. So when on component did mount, which again is like your DOM ready, I have this connection in properties that I passed in. So I call get collection, that gets me my Meteor collection. And then I call reactive query on it, which is an Asteroid thing. And I just say, give me all of the to-dos in this example. So what it does is give me this result object, which has this onChange handler, which will run anytime DDP sends an update. So on change, all I'm going to do is update React, the state of the React component. So here's the test. So this is my, I have to start the Meteor app in a different directory because I'm on this branch. No, yeah. Okay. Okay. So on the right hand side is Meteor. On the left hand side is the Asteroid app, which again is just a static HTML side, and you get the exact same thing. So, I had an example in here already. So let's start over. Milk, bread, cheese, and then from the Meteor side, I can complete these two, delete that. So you have your non-Meteor front end reactive app. Yeah. That's
pretty good.
yeah, that's cool. So
What's your favorite?
thank you. That's
Favorite combo?
that's a good question. I don't know. Don't know.
So with that Asteroid version, could you
Yep.
have all that in one repo, like one project, or does the front end have to be sort of separate from the Asteroid backend?
No, well, there is no Asteroid backend, so yeah, it can be separate. That's what I was just running. So I was running a Meteor app from another repo,
Right.
and my Asteroid version, which is
Just the front end of it.
just the front end,
So that can be hosted on.
goes on
static
yeah,
site.
Amazon S3, Dropbox, you know, Google GitHub pages. So yeah, I don't. Okay, we'll skip that. I built the same app in Polymer with Meteor and with Asteroids. It was.
For this talk,
I don't know.
or you had already done it?
Well, it was before the talk had kind of formed, and I was trying to just explore things to talk about. Plus,
Use Blaze.
figure out. Well, I do have a Blaze version actually,
I was gonna ask, could you like put
but it's,
Angular in with Polymer as well as React?
Hell no.
I didn't do Angular because I don't know Angular. I didn't do Ember because I don't know Ember.
What if I went all those?
Yeah.
So yeah, what actually the question is, what does it mean? The answer is I don't know.
What does it mean?
What does it all mean?
You like JSX?
I think
Let that be
I'm getting used to it. I think it's weird at first, but it's really, I think, the only way you can combine markup with JavaScript. If that's what you want to do. If you want to have them like, well, I guess Polymer does it.
Yeah.
That's true. Polymer does it too, but
I like what we call it.
kind of like, but it's better because it's like right there. And if you have to deal with JSX to do that, then so be it. Yeah, Polymer's, it's got the same thing. You got markup, you got
Yeah.
JavaScript, but it doesn't feel as nice. I don't know why. It just
Polymer doesn't? Or
I mean, it's there. It's,
which one you say doesn't feel as nice?
Polymer web components
Doesn't feel as nice.
doesn't
I
feel as
like-
nice as these.
I like Polymer better when making components.
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah.
That's why all these exist.
I don't mind it.
Now this doesn't require like Polymer has issues with browser support. Does React have issues with browser support too?
No, because it's its own library. There's no, I mean, it's not standard, but
It works on with that.
right. So it's kind of like, so Polymer's, right, only runs in the browser because it's the whole purpose, whereas React will run anywhere that runs JavaScript.
Kind of weird. It feels like it's going. Everything's going back towards old school. Like I don't know, just like HTML chunks right in your code. We used to do that crap. Yeah, it was considered a bad thing to do, and now it's good. Now
Now it's
the
good.
hotness.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a
Like,
reason.
It's a component.
Well, it's the new hotness for
I
sure.
know.
It should be.
Yeah. So like, yeah, before JSX, you had
It was
to,
like-
you had to like, and before JSX, like instead of this div, like just plain markup, you'd have to do something like React dot create element, like almost like jQuery div, and then give it like, you know, ID.
So that's how
whatever.
Blaze works, really.
Yeah, but you don't have to type it like
Right.
a Blaze template. It's just HTML.
Right.
Oh, but you're saying it converts it into an object like that.
Yeah,
And then
probably.
they apply your data context.
So it should be easy, and you could theoretically, I guess, do something similar here too.
I think they could. Where did I see that somewhere? No, actually, Radcore does that. You can. So Radcore, you can include. It says like use with caution because it's a hack, but you can include Blaze templates in your render function.
Yeah.
It was something like, blaze dot to React or something. And you give it a name. It was like,
All you get to use the ability to stick that file in that content of the file, basically.
yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah.
What's it mean?
Any questions?
Did anybody have any questions on the live stream, Josh?
Just people were asking about the code, where would it be up, and would the slides be up, and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I'll put up. The slides are already up. It's on slides.com.
okay, so we'll just put a link on the YouTube stream.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
And I'll put the code up tomorrow.
Okay.
Also, good work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Clap it all up, people.
All right. Let me steal your connection.
The display?
Yeah.
Oh, so what's the code?
All right.
How hard is it next time to do a stream? Plug in the slide.
I don't think it'll be that hard. I think it'll be that easy. Hand me the mic too.
Pass the mic.
You're still live.
That's the mic. Yeah. It's supposed Oh, I'm muted. I'm muted. I was clicking around and hitting keys. Probably. It's a Command D. All right. Well, anyway, again, this is probably the worst app to demo on because I don't have any collections on the front end. Why doesn't it work on the other one? That's what I want to know. See if it'll work on the City Forks app, maybe. Basically, it's exposing like all the data that's in Minimongo for you, and then you can actually, independent of the allow and deny rules, you can manage the data and like save it. And the great thing is, it's like it's got the debug only flag on it, so you can install it and you don't have to worry about getting into production. So it's a nice developer tool. There we go. Reload. Okay, so this is like the City Forks app that I built the other day. And it finds where we're at, and then it finds all the food places around us, like Walgreens. Apparently you can go buy food there. Subway, Shanghai Mamas. Yeah, it doesn't have to be good food. And so if we click here, you can see we've got places down in the bottom left-hand corner there. When we click on it, you can actually see all the data that's related to it. And there's ratings here we're not exposing. You can see all these different types we're saving off. So we could actually probably have filters that show only bars if we wanted to. And you've got all the like latitude and longitude points here, so you can actually change this. I'll change this guy. Yeah.
Do you actually use this?
I haven't yet, but I plan to. Because I actually think this is pretty good. So you can see, like, I hit save and it disappeared because we're actually asking, like Mongo here, we're giving it our location and saying only give us stuff that's within a certain range. And so, you know, it dropped out because I moved it, like, probably a state over by changing the latitude there. But yeah, I think like this is important to me because like it's an easy way to do a security audit because all of a sudden you can see like what data is flowing to the front end as you're clicking around, and maybe there's more here than we intended, right? So that's kind of interesting. And then it's also nice because I don't know, maybe it's a crutch that you're able to like update all this data even though the allow and deny rules won't let you.
Yeah, I just updates it on client only.
No. He's actually got a server method that bypasses allow and deny. Yeah, but again, like it's less of a security concern because he's only doing it in development mode and never gets bundled into production. So except it doesn't. Nice try though.
We go to a bunch of production Meteor sites and get control
Good luck with that. So anyway, interesting package. It's called Mongol. I would recommend taking a look at it. Except when it doesn't work on other apps. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Next week. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen now. Wait till we miss that. Lovely. Hi. Thanks for watching me talk about a package. We'll get a better next one. All right. Thanks, guys.